Dude, today has been a crazy day. I mean, I would like you open up Twitter and you see the damnedest shit. I swear. Right now, Donald Trump had a fiery interview today with Bloomberg, and this is five things, the five summaries that I think everyone should have. Colin Rugg has done a fantastic overview of this real election of cycle. I don't know why I don't follow him, but we're following him now. But we're going to do this in order. Number 5, Donald Trump roasts the Federal Reserve, said they should show up to the office 1 month and flip a freaking coin.
Government. You show up to the office once a month.
This is Trump talking about the Federal Reserve.
I think it's the greatest job in government.
It's the greatest
you show
job.
up to the office once a month.
You show up to the office once a month.
And you say, let's see, flip a coin. And everybody talks about you like you're a god. Oh, what will he do? I mean, before, the guy used to walk into my office, he was like begging. Oh, he was fine.
But you did talk you talked about removing him once.
I did, because he was keeping the rates too high.
Dude, I love that. If Kamala got asked that and said, "Hey, you were threatening to fire somebody," she would come up with this word salad answer of why they, prosperity and how she came from a middle class family and just completely lose the point. Trump, yeah, I did about fire the guy. Deserved to be fired. He sucked. I mean, it's a little brash, but you got to respect it, no?
Yeah.
And I was right. What does the Wall Street Journal know? They've been wrong about.
All right, number 4. Trump calls out Micklethwait to his face along Wall Street Journal for being wrong about everything. Sheesh, he's calling this guy right out to his face.
He was keeping the rates too high.
Yeah.
And I was right. What does the Wall Street Journal know? They've been wrong about everything. So have you, by the way. You've been wrong about
You're trying to turn this. You're trying to turn
Big
this.
burn.
No,
Big
you're
burn.
trying to turn this into debate. There are
It's not a
business
debate.
people. There are
But
business
you're wrong.
people.
You've been wrong. You've been wrong all your life on this stuff. We're
Damn! No, you've been wrong. Don't lie. You said predictions were gonna happen, and you like a meteorologist because you dead ass wrong, and for some reason you still have your job. Trump rips the European car companies for circumventing tariffs by shipping some parts to be assembled in America. We definitely need America to become great again, especially in the automotive section. I would love to see Detroit be able to open up their automotive section and become a beautiful, thriving place again. And if you didn't know, Detroit is in Michigan. I wonder how many people in this were like, Detroit's not in Michigan, and they're looking it up right now.
going to put tariffs on them, and they're going to do, and you know what they can do? The Mercedes-Benz will start building in the United States. And they have a little bit, but you know what they really are? Assembly, like in South Carolina. But they build everything in Germany, and then they assemble it here. They get away with murder because they say, oh, yes, we're building cars. They don't build cars. They take them out of a box and they assemble them. We could have our child do it.
Tariff.
Damn. Now, granted, I think being able to assemble cars that follow the Harrison T model or the T Ford model, whatever it is, or you could have like a child do it, I definitely think that's probably not a bad thing. But I would like to have all of the vertical integrations of that of the automobile industry be at least in America and thriving in America. You can see on my chest, I got the Georgia G on. I'm a Georgia boy. I'm just a good old Southern Georgia boy out of this. Now, let's get to the number 2 point. Now, the crowd starts cheering after Trump spars with Micklethwait over here over tariffs. To me, whenever you see tariffs, guys, please, this is just, I'm going to try to simplify this down. I was in economics. Let's say this. I did 2 economics classes in college. 2 whole economics classes. 2 because I failed the first time, so I had to take it again a second time. True story. But tariffs are just negotiations, okay? Every country, you gotta think of a country as a business, and every business has things that it needs to sell and things that it needs to buy for it to sell, right? And tariffs is negotiation tactics on how much am I gonna buy something from you so that I can make it here and sell it. And right now, all our stuff is being bought overseas, i.e. cars, your furniture, everything that you could think of. Everything that you could think of. You go to the store, it says made in China, made in Taiwan, not made in America, right? So that's the thing. We're buying them from over there at a rate and then trying to sell it over here. No bueno, no bueno. We need more over here to sell over there.
Also have another side. Isn't that something that you have to acknowledge?
No.
You could be plunging America into the biggest trade war since Smoot-Hawley.
But there are no tariffs.
You're going to stop. There are tariffs already at the moment.
There are no tariffs. All you have to do is build your plant in the United States, and you don't have any tariffs.
But people, a lot of places like.
How about this?
That's listen to that one more time.
But people, a lot of places like.
How about this?
Dang it! Hold on. I want Trump to say that one more time. I'm not gonna worry about finding it. Are you just talking about building it in America, right? Like Kamala Harris, I don't think she's ever really talked about anything other than this quote unquote middle class people that she's just focusing on. There's a lot more Americans than just middle class, upper, lower, all of it. And the middle class doesn't feel like they're being ignored. They're feeling like we're being taken advantage of. That's the big issue here. And I think that's what the whole Harrison-Walsh information or campaign is missing. Lastly, Trump calls out Gavin Newsom, which prompted Micklethwait to correct him, which then Trump correcting him back again.
Yes. Gavin Newsom, he's the governor of California.
Newsom.
He signed Newsom, I call him.
Yeah. But do you think?
No, he corrected me. He corrected me. I said, that's the first time I've been corrected.
There are CEOs out here. If they said those sort of things about a rival CEO, they'd be sacked. Do you think it's fine for a president?
But they don't have to survive like me. They don't have to go through what I have to go through. There's never been a president that's been treated like me, so I have to fight my own way.
Well, you made a.
I won't say never, actually. That's actually kind of an exaggeration. But there is something to be said that the double standard on Trump, how the left, mainstream media, is saying that he's a threat to democracy, that he's going to deploy, people to go after his political opposition. But that's exactly what's happening to him right now. So he has to fight back in a way where it's a little brash and it's a little over the top and maybe a little on the nose at times. But I think that's just getting his base to support him even more so. Now, where was...
encouraging a peaceful transfer of power?
I did see. Right here. Perfect. This is also in the same interview. This is on the Trump War Room, but we should have a new Air Force One. We see these planes from Saudi Arabia, all these countries, brand new ones, and ours is 32 years old. The United States should have the best plane. I saw this and I saw the caption. I was like, what does he freaking mean about this?
When I first sat down, a general came into my office and he said, "Sir, it's nice to meet you. Would you please sign this?" I said, "What is it?" "It's a contract for a new Air Force One, which is actually two planes, not one, two Boeing 747. And I said, "How much is it?" $5.7 billion. It's a hell of an expensive plane, but there's reasons for that. And he said, "Nope, I'm not signing it." I said, "Who negotiated it?" "Barack Hussein Obama." I said, "I'm not signing it." "Why?" Because there's a lot of fat. He said, "I'm not signing. It's got to have a 3
There's
on
a lot
it."
of fat.
Anyway, long story short, some of you have heard this. I got it down to, because first week they cut off $400 million. He said, "I'll cut." I met with the head of Boeing. "Wait, Dennis." I said, "Dennis, you got to have a 3. 5.7 is too much. 5.7 billion." He said, "The most I'll take off is $400 million. I said, "Well, that's not bad for one conversation." So I got it down. I said, "Nope, I'm not accepting." Then he took off 2 more. Then he took off.
He said that's not bad for one conversation. This guy knows how to run a deal. I know that he might be polarized. I know you might get frustrated with him every now and then. But you can't say this guy doesn't know how to work a deal.
Anyway, 2 months went by, 3 months went by. I thought we blew the deal, and it was okay with me. I didn't care. But we should have a new Air Force One. When we see these planes from Saudi Arabia, from different countries, brand new, and ours is like 32 years.
I will point this in here from the comment that I just made. The deal never got done. But the reaction of him getting on the phone and being like, "Oh, that wasn't bad for one call."
Years old. And it's a very different plane. It's a much smaller plane. The whole thing. The United States should have the best plane, I will tell you. Not for me, but we should have.
Let me give you an example.
Finish. He said, he calls up after like 2-3 months. I didn't call him, which is the best way to buy something. Don't call back. And he goes, In fact, when he called me, I said, I wonder what the hell he wants. That's a good way to negotiate, let me tell you. So he calls back.
Never
said,
mind.
Sir, $3,999,999.99 1 penny below $4 billion. So I said, you got yourself a deal. Then I said to him, let me ask you a question. So,
Never mind, he got the deal. If you guys didn't know, Trump wrote a book too. I think it's like a bestseller, but it's called The Art of the Deal. If you guys are in marketing and whatnot, you may have heard of it. That's Trump, man. He got the art. He indeed knows the art of the deal. Holy shit.
So you had a deal at $5.7 billion, and in a period of 2 months, I got $1.7 billion off. That means you were going to make $1.7 billion profit on an airplane. Did nobody ever negotiate with you? Well, not really, sir. This is the price, and they said, we'll take it. And I said, you know,
They made 1.7 million, and we're gonna assume. I'm just assuming they made that same profit off other presidents in the past, or account inflation and all of that. The same gross amount of profit. That profit is coming from the American people. It's not like the government is making goods themselves, right? That's disgusting.
and then I learned, that was my first experience, from that. But then I learned everything is like that. There is so much waste. So I'm getting, think of this, the exact same plane for 1.7 billion less, except I have a better paint job. Okay, much better paint job. A different color, red, white, and blue is beautiful. And if you look at every contract, that's one contract, and relatively small compared to most. Think of it. You save 1.7 billion because you negotiate every.
Trump saved $1.7 billion from taxpayers for us having to waste on bloat. That's not gonna even get talked about in this video. That's gonna go right over most people's head. But homie, just imagine you get a dude like Elon who took Twitter, saw how fat, out of shape, like damn near diabetic Twitter was, and slashed the fucking fat off. And it's running the same, if not better, with more functions, right? And I know people are gonna be like, well, what about the people that lost their jobs? This is true. There's always a silver light to everything. How many people are stuck to a dead-end job that they don't like, but they need to pay the bills, and sometimes they need a force of hand, an act from God, if you will, to put them in a position where they're forced to do something and find a new job, or chase their passion in life and actually make a career that they're passionate about. There's always a silver lining to everything for those people who did lose their jobs, right? It's not always just the victims, right? Some people, like our heroes from comic books, are heroes because they were dealt a shitty hand and still became heroes and still chose to see the light at the end of the darkness, see the light at the end of the tunnel, even when at first glance they couldn't even see that light. They just had faith that it was at the end of the tunnel.
Deal is like that. We're building ships that are costing 2-3 times more.
Can you give me an example of something
There's tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse in our country. And if you could cut it, you would have a surplus without even going into growth.
That's actually, he's talking about getting growth, not even changing anything, just cutting off the fat, the diabetic fucking fat that's just holding on. It smells like fucking cheese curds, smells like fat smell. We need to get that out of our government, right? And it may look like Pelosi, AOC. It may look like that kind of bureaucratic politician, if you know what I'm saying.
But growth, we will grow. We're going to bring companies and jobs in at levels that you've never seen. And you would never be able to do it because you're not a believer in tariffs.
I'm not running for president.
Let me tell you, the only way you can do it.
What a bitch ass response. I'm not running for president. No shit.
Is through the threat of tariffs. It's the only way you
Micklethwait
can
over
do
there
it.
is not a very exceptional person. Look at this guy. Ugh.